Fame or curse? The terrifying truth behind their success. Part 1. The rise. Success. Everyone wants it, but few understand what it truly costs. Some believe hard work and talent are enough, but behind the glitz and glamour of fame, there are whispers, stories of those who rose too fast, too high, and fell into something far darker than failure. Leon Carter had always dreamed of making it big. An aspiring musician struggling in the grimy backstreets of Los Angeles, he spent years playing in empty bars and sending demos to labels that never replied. Rejection became a familiar taste, and the hope of stardom began to fade, until one night changed everything. It was a cold October evening when he stumbled into the Velvet Note, an underground club hidden in an alley no one seemed to notice. The sign flickered as if reluctant to stay lit, and the bouncer barely acknowledged him before letting him in. The air was thick with smoke, and the dim red lighting bathed the room in an eerie glow. A band was playing, one Leon had never heard of, but their sound was hypnotic, a strange mix of jazz and something otherworldly. Their music wrapped around him, burrowing into his skin. He barely noticed the man who sat down beside him until a voice, deep and velvety, cut through the air. "You have talent," the stranger said. Leon turned to see a man dressed in an impeccably tailored black suit. His face was sharp, his smile almost too perfect. There was something about him, something unsettling. "You've been waiting for an opportunity, haven't you?" the man continued.
To be seen.
To be heard. To be remembered. Leon swallowed hard. He didn't know this man, but his words struck like a dagger to the heart. "Who are you?" he asked. The man extended a hand. "Call me Mr. Ashford, and I can give you what you've always wanted." There was a pause, a breathless moment of hesitation. Leon knew these kinds of offers never came without a price, but desperation outweighed doubt. "What's the catch?" Mr. Ashford's smile widened. "No catch. Just commitment. Once you step through this door, there's no turning back." "But isn't that what you want? A one-way ticket to greatness?" Leon thought of all the nights he'd spent pouring his soul into songs no one would ever hear. He thought of the empty venues, the closed doors, the crushing loneliness of a dream slipping through his fingers. He took the man's hand. The change was almost immediate. Within weeks, Leon's music was everywhere. His first single, Eclipse, went viral overnight. It was unlike anything he had ever written before, haunting, powerful, almost inhuman. He didn't remember composing it, only waking up one morning to find the lyrics scrawled across his notebook in handwriting that didn't quite look like his own. Labels fought over him. His concerts sold out in minutes. His name was whispered in the industry with reverence. Leon Carter wasn't just a musician anymore. He was a phenomenon. But with success came something else. It started subtly, a shadow in the corner of his vision. A voice in the static of his speakers whispering his name. The unsettling feeling that he was never truly alone. And then the dreams began. At first, they were hazy, a stage bathed in red light, a crowd with hollow faces staring back at him. But night after night, they became clearer. He was performing, but something was wrong. His fingers bled against the strings of his guitar. His voice wasn't his own. The audience wasn't cheering. They were chanting. And in the front row, always watching, always smiling, was Mr. Ashford. Leon tried to push the paranoia aside. He convinced himself it was exhaustion, the stress of fame weighing on him. But then, strange things started happening in the waking world. The first sign was the mirror. One night after performance, Leon stood in his dressing room, staring at his reflection. He looked different. Thinner. Paler. His eyes, once warm brown, had darkened to an almost black hue. He leaned closer, pressing his fingers against the glass. And his reflection smiled. Leon jerked back. His own face had twisted into something unnatural. Teeth too sharp. Eyes too empty. And then, as quickly as it had changed, it was normal again. A hallucination. It had to be. But it didn't stop there. The second sign was the music. One evening, as he was rehearsing alone, his guitar began playing on its own. A slow, eerie melody he had never heard before. He backed away, the notes ringing through the empty room. And then, a whisper. You promised. Leon spun around, his heart hammering. But he was alone. Or so he thought. Because just beyond the doorway, half hidden in the shadows, someone was watching. Mr. Ashford. Only this time, his smile was much, much wider. Leon knew then something was terribly wrong. His success wasn't a blessing. It was a contract signed in something darker than ink. And the price?